Hello guys, welcome to PyPower Projects. So now let's begin with the tutorial for Pandas using Python, absolutely for Python. So what is Pandas for? So Pandas is basically a kind of framework for Python to handle the files. It's like a spreadsheet with programming. So you can program your spreadsheet as per your requirements. So Pandas is basically if you want to explore some data set stored in your CSV file, you to extract certain set of information. If you kind of related with SQL, you would be finding Pandas in a more beautiful or a different way of looking at it. So this is what Pandas is for. So now you need to see when should you start using Pandas. Before Pandas, I would recommend you to explore some features of NumPy library. How does Pandas fit into data science toolkit? As we discussed, Pandas can explore informations from the files. So in real life example, when you go for data science or machine learning for plotting some things on Matplotlib, you need Pandas. Pandas is a tool to extract specific information. It's like a spreadsheet with programming that you need to install Pandas. Conda install Pandas and pip install Pandas. You can accordingly write in your prompt and get this Pandas. Another thing that you need to aware is three types, that is NumPy array, Pandas series, and Pandas data frame. Let's see the Pandas data frame. It's like just rows and columns that you've previously seen in your Excel sort of spreadsheet. It's just like that, the rows, columns, and so here we are with Jupyter Notebook. So the codes link or the tutorial practice things is given in the description box. There is a GitHub link and you can get those things in here. So basically we are going to explore with we will creating data frames. As we discussed, Pandas is dependent on data frames. So what data frames is, how we will be able to create data frames. So this is an example. I've just created a simple data frame that is lst list of strings, and simpler we have just printed the data frame. You can write the print function, and if you're using pandas there is also no requirement of print functions. Let's run this to get an idea. So this index is 0. The reason is we have no name or column name given to this list of strings. So the way I was talking of display, let me remove this print function so you will feel how data frame actually looks in Jupyter Notebook. See, it's awesome. We've been providing this index to in order to get an perspective idea of which entry resides in which index. It's like arrays displayed with its index. So this was just a simple list where you can create a data frame. Another thing here is you can import pandas and you can create a dictionary of your things. That is data of lists. That is I have name, its number of names, age, and number of ages in here. Oh, I just manipulated. Oh my god. So yes, here it is, and I'm just making a data frame out of it. So printing the data frame. See, this is name and age. This column name occurred due to this reason. If I just remove this thing, this name will be named as 0 or the index will be displayed as here. Now we are just creating a big data frame, and now we will see how to select a particular column or display that particular column, right? So I have created one data frame in here. I have converted this dictionary to the data frame using this dot data frame function. I have provided this data into dot data frame function. PD is for pandas, and I have created the data frame. So if I need to select certain columns, I'm just write to df age or qualification. You can even write, and let me change it to name. You can manipulate this thing and play with this. See, simpler. Right. Now, another thing is in real life, up to still we have seen, we have just created, manually created basically the data frames or dictionary or maybe strings or something else. But in real life, in practical life, you won't be given such manual small data. You need a big data. I'm not going to say this big data type of things, but enormous or n number of data. So you will be importing somewhat CSV files. I have one CSV file so I have just a very huge data set. It's comprising of some NBA and I just picked it randomly. So let's move to the code. So you have to just write PD, that is pandas.read CSV function. You have to just write the location. I have just placed this double slashes to avoid one another and index column equals to name. So in this file, I'm just going to pick the name column. Nothing else will be kept into this data frame. So now what we are going to see, I need to first retrieve the whole row of entry. I'm just searching with this dot locate function. Okay, so with this dot locate function, I have given an entry name Avery Bradley, and I will get the whole entry of that row which is having every Bradley in it. So let's run this. So here it is. I'm getting kind of whole information of that entry where the name is every Bradley. Similarly, where the name is RJ Hunter, I'm getting this thing. So you can load the CSV file. Just you have to ignore this thing and it will be completely loaded into your data frame. So now, if you need to have some URL or a website portal, you need to explore or extract that CSV file, you just need to write this and it will also work. So we are just using this top.head function. The reason is it will just display the first 5 entries. So this is how it works is basically you can see it's like validating that my code is running in a proper manner. Instead of displaying the whole data frame, we just display a pinch of it to get acknowledged about yes, this entry is been or we have loaded the data frame completely. So now we have seen how to load the data frame, how to create the data frame, or in short, to export the data into pandas in the form of data frame. But we haven't yet manipulated or added or something. We have not done any operations onto it. So here it is. So we have just added a new column. So I am creating different data frames every time. The reason is that the previously performed operations we might forget and we may not get that same attribute at that same position and it might throw some error. So for the sake of understanding, I'm just making different dictionaries and making new data frames in every snippet. You can continue with a single data frame or a single dictionary and manipulate it. Alright, so you can play with it or anywhere else, right? So I've just created this new thing. I just need to add the address part. So I have already loaded this data frame. I have the list of string for address like Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, and Patna. So what I need to do is just write data frame and it's like the index is address and I just added the address this list into the data frame by the column name called addrs. You can also manipulate it, like for example let me manipulate it to city. So yeah, simple. So you can print the data frame. Let's see. Yes, here it is, city. It's Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, and Patna. One thing you might notice is by this conventional way, you are just appending this address list into the lastmost column of the data frame. But what if you need this city before something like in between of something or in the first or the beginning? So if you need to manipulate it, you have to use the sophisticated tool called dot insert. This is a simple data frame I've created once again, and we have to insert the age. This 2 depicts the index. This is 0th index of the column, 1 and 2nd index. So at this, it will be inserted after the height column and before the qualification column. So this is the data frame. I have actually feeded the data frame. You can also create this thing and then supply this thing to the dot insert function. That's a no problem, but let's see how it is working. See, it is after the height and before the qualification. This index matters. If I just convert it to somewhat say, let me say third index, right? So what it goes, it's the last 0, 1, 2, and 3. It's actually with 0, 1, and 2. It's a, if I say it as 0th index, alright, 0th index. So it's there. Okay, so it says the age. So you can manipulate it and play with it. Alright, so now, up till now, we have seen appending an index or appending an entry into the data frame. But now we're going into a step above of it, that is grouping data. Here it is. So in this table, for example, if I have this NBA kind of thing and I have this same team name, for example, let's consider a real life example, like I have an employee table and they have common department name, so I can group them, like for example IT departments, the people are employed in IT departments will be at once, and HR department at once, sales department at once, so you can group this thing. So how in Pandas, we will see here. So first of all, I have created one data frame. I'm grouping on the basis of name. So I have repeatedly used the name once again. Anuj is used repeatedly. Princey and J was is reused repeatedly. Alright, so I have different qualifications. So let's see how our data frame looks like. So this is our data frame. Alright, so now by the dot group by function, I've grouped as per the attribute name. You have to provide the attribute name to the group by function. You can also group as per the age. Right, I do not have similar ages except 27, so let me just do that. Or city, let's say address. All right, so you can group by name and you can print it. So let's see. All right, it's grouping. This display is quite unfamiliar, but you can see that AB is grouped, Anuj is grouped, Gaurav is grouped, Jai and Prince has been grouped. Okay, you can also group as the basis of some address. This is a kind of way. This is a display thing. Dot first, so it will display the first 5 entries in the somewhat group. And so let me run this. So it's the same thing. I have grouped as per the address. All right. So you can also group as per name. I have group. Let me group as per the address. All right. So yes, it has been grouped as per the address. Right. Let me go back to the name one. I need to explain something. So if we're going with the name part, it is automatically arranging in the alphabetical order. This is, if you can consider as a drawback or some advantage, but this is the fact. It will sort as per the alphabetical order. And another thing is, while grouping things, it will reflect the first entry. For example, if I group as per Abby, is it's just saying one entry. Let me group as Anuj. The firstly, whenever encounter Anuj, the same entry will be reflected into the data frame. So even though it has encountered Anuj with 36 Kanpur and BCom, it will just print 24 Kanpur and MA. See here. The same goes on with Prince C, J, or many other groups. So J is with 27 Nagpur and MSc, J will be with 27 Nagpur and MSc only, even though it has further encountered something else. So we have seen here how we are grouping the data. Now, what if we have some two data frames or two different data frames, two different CSV files? We need to merge it into one. We need to just concatenate two arrays or strings kind of thing. So this is the way. So I have created two another data frames. This is dictionary. I have converted with df. See here index matters 0, 1, 2 and 3. So Jay, Princey, Gaurav and Anuj will be at the 0th, 1st, 2nd and the 3rd index of the entry. Similarly 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th will be at Abhi, Ayushi, Dheeraj and Hitesh. So I'm just printing. You can also just frame with dot concatenate function. This actually works behind the dot concatenate function. So it actually merges both the data frames into one. So dot concatenate with frames and it will be printing. So let's see. So this is a manual printing kind of thing, df and df1. Okay, this is the actual way. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As I said, 0, 1, 2, 3 will be for Jay, Princey, Gaurav, and Anuj. 4, 5, 6, 7 will be for this. You can manipulate this. You can take further with 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7 also. So it's in your hand how you need to concatenate. You need to take some odds and odds, evens and evens. You can go on with that also. You can play with that. So now we have just grouped or concatenated the data. But if we move something further, what happens is we need to merge as per some conditions. We need not some replicated data. We need some data which is actually the intersection of those. The word which we've been using in Pandas is the join word. If somebody is not familiar with the join word, so here it is. So we have just imported pandas. We have created two dictionary, two data frames, and now we have been setting access join equals to inner. So join will be inner, so it will perform inner join. It will just look out for two common entries into it. See, I have merged as per 0, 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, 6, and 7. So 0, 1, 2, and 3, Gaurav and Anuj, Gaurav and Anuj. So it will just merge it and give me the actual output of the concatenated and natural joint. See, this is it. It's Garo and Anuj. So this is the way how it goes with join. Another join, let me give you one more example. It's like if you just do not get something, it just still concatenates and goes on with the join. So this is another example. So yes, it is just concatenated things. So up till now, we have seen how to create data frames, how to fetch something from the data frame, how to select some columns, how to locate some things. Like for example, we have located a hunter, RJ Hunter, right? This in here, located RJ Hunter, Avery Bradley, and you can now then create a new column. You can just add using two types with a conventional way in the dot insert function. You can group the data with the group by function. You can concatenate two data frames. You can manipulate it. You can just do natural join, full outer join, and many of those things, and can play with it. And you can easily concatenate, and indexing you can do as per your choice. So now the last thing that I need to say is you have created the data frame, you have manipulated all those things, but now you need to save it in your system. So how will you save it? You will just write export CSV, df to CSV, the location, and index equals to false. This index equals to false denotes what? This index equals to false denotes that this index 0, 1, 2, and 3 should not become the part of your CSV file. So if you're just rewriting this thing on a CSV file, I would recommend to close this CSV file. So you have just closed it and you have to run this code. So it has so my CSV file will be updated. Yes, see, it has been updated with the original data frame. The lastly manipulated data frame, that is Jai, Provinci, Gaurav and Anuj, is in my CSV file. So this is the way how to export and save the previously manipulated data into the CSV file. So up till now, We have just explored a pinch from the ocean. The ocean is still left to explore. The more you explore, more sophisticated tools, more sophisticated functions, better visualizations can be done using pandas.